Hey guys, Brig here, and today we're going to be talking about how you can make lots of gold in patch 8.1.5, which is coming out later this week. And this video is going to concentrate on three main areas, and that is one thing that involves farming, one thing that involves crafting, and one thing which involves flipping. So we've got something for everyone, I think, in this video. Before we get into the details of the gold making, this video is sponsored by Skillshare. So if you haven't heard, Skillshare is an online learning community with over 25,000 classes in lots of different areas, such as business, design, and lots more. And there's actually a link in the description of this video for you guys to click on, and you'll get 2 months free membership to Skillshare, which is really nice. You don't have to pay a single thing. It is 2 free months for you. For those of you who don't know, I'm currently doing an MBA Business Masters course in London, and for this course we have to do lots of presenting, lots of public speaking for our business ideas, and Skillshare has been helping me a lot with that in terms of presenting publicly and speaking in front of an audience. And there's thousands of different courses, so if you guys want to continue learning, then do check out that link in the description. It also helps out my channel, so do give it a look. So the first thing to make gold with the new patch is going to be the new raiding with leashes achievement. So for those of you who don't know, the raiding with leashes achievements come out every couple of years or so, and they're really good. They basically just mean you go into a raid for a certain expansion and you kill the bosses in those raids and you try and get the pets that drop from them. So this is for Mr. Pandaria, and it concentrates on the 3 first raids, so Mogashan Vaults, Terrace of Endless Spring, and Heart of Fear. And the pets that are dropping, there are 4 pets from Mogashan Vaults, 1 from each of the bosses. There are 2 pets from Terrace of Endless Springs, and there are 5 pets from Heart of Fear. So there you go. That's what, 11 pets, and they can all be sold on the auction house. Now, nobody is quite sure on the drop rate, but these pets usually have, I think, about a 20% drop rate, something like that. So maybe a 10%, between 10 and 20, I would say. So if you go in and kill all of those 11 bosses, you will probably get at least 1 pet, more likely 2 or something. So it's pretty good to run on your characters, or even multiple characters, at the start of the patch, because that's when the pets are going to be selling for the most. Now, you guys will be able to sell these pets for up to 100k in the first few days, because some people just really want the achievement straight away and they can't be bothered to wait around. So at least last time this came out, people were selling the pets for like 100k, particularly some of the rarer ones, because sometimes the drop rate depends, so some of the pets are rarer than others. And at least they were selling them for like 50k pretty easily, and then they start dropping down, and then after a few weeks they're below 10k, even below 5k. So your best chance to start selling these is in the first week of the patch. Now, a great tip for you guys is you can run this on Raid Finder. So if you guys come to Mogashan Palace in the Vale of Eternal Blossom, you can go talk to this guy, Lore Walker Han, and you can queue up for all the different Raid Finders. And they do drop on Raid Finder. I believe the drop rate's the same, so you guys can just run it on Raid Finder really easily. It means you don't have to go and travel to all the different places. You can just queue up right here. But the good thing about this is you can also run the raids on normal difficulty after Raid Finder, and it's a different lockout. So you guys can literally run all 3 of the raids on Raid Finder. You can then go and run them on normal difficulty by going to the raid entrances yourself, and you'll have 2 chances per week per character for each of the pets. So even if you're fairly unlucky and only get 1 pet out of the 11 that you farm, that's 2 pets if you then get 1 again when you do it on normal, and then if you do it on another character. So just by farming this on 2 characters, you could get 4 pets, and in the first week that could easily be 400k gold, 300k gold, something like that. So you could get yourself a WoW token just by getting these pets, farming these pets, and it doesn't take much time at all. So it's definitely worth doing in the first week or the first couple of weeks, and it's quite fun. I know some people don't like farming. I definitely don't like farming, but to be honest, I don't really mind farming raids. It's a bit more interesting, so I quite like it. And something to think about, guys, remember pets can be sold on different servers, so if you're not getting much luck selling it on your server, you can always just cage it, make a character on a new server and try and sell it there. Another thing you should probably be doing is advertising in trade chat. There's going to be lots of people farming these, there's going to be lots of people wanting to buy them, but if you are advertising in trade chat, maybe someone won't have realised that the new achievement was out and they'll want to buy the new pet off you. There are lots of very experienced and very crazy pet collectors who will literally just collect any pet that comes into the game straight away. So if you get one of these pets in the first day, start advertising it in trade chat, try and make some deals with someone and you can get a quick sale. I think that's going to be best for you rather than putting it on the auction house and having to deal with the competition and all of that. So the next thing you guys want to be doing is, because the new Brawlers guild is coming out with this patch, you can actually flip the Brawlers pass. So the Brawlers pass is quite rare to get, you don't see very many of them, but if they are cheap on your auction house, I might suggest buying a couple of them out and then relisting them. People have already done that on our server. They usually go for around 5,000 gold, and right now the cheapest one is on for 25,000 gold. Now, if they're on your server for 25,000 gold, don't buy them out because that's already too expensive. But if people haven't started flipping them yet on your server, and they're on your server for 1,000 gold or less than 5,000 gold, then maybe I'd buy up some of them and start reselling them for 20,000 gold or 10,000 gold. Because when the patch comes out, people just want to get their new character maybe into the Brawlers guild, and if they don't have a Brawlers pass, they're not going to want to try and farm it because it's quite difficult to do that. They're just going to want to go and buy it out. So if you guys can find some cheap Brawlers passes, then I suggest going and buying them up and relisting them on the auction house for a lot more gold, and you could get a really easy flip. But again, be careful, make sure you don't pay too much for them, because if they don't sell you could end up losing gold, so only buy these out if they are cheap. So the final thing I suggest you guys doing is dusting off your crafters and making some of the 340 Sinister gear, because there's going to be lots of people leveling up new characters. Why is this? Well, there are the new allied races, and of course you get the cool transmogs if you actually level up an allied race rather than just faction changing. So there are quite a few people, you'd be surprised, but there are, who like to level up these characters. So there's going to be new characters hitting max level, and the second they hit max level, what do they like to do? Well, a lot of them go onto the auction house and start buying up the 340 gear, because that can then help them get in for the war fronts, and the war fronts gear them up for the mythic dungeons, etc, etc. So the 340 gear is the kind of gateway for them to boost their item level very quickly, and it does sell really well traditionally when the allied races come out. My server is very high populated, so the 340 gear often doesn't have that big profits, but even at the moment it's still selling the cloth gear for like 1,000 or 2,000 gold profit each, which is pretty nice, and I can only imagine this going up when the new characters start being leveled up and the new patch comes out. So give it a week or two and maybe these will be like 2,000 or 3,000 gold each, and they'll be selling pretty quickly, a lot more quickly than usual, because there'll be more people leveling up these characters. So if you do have a crafter, maybe start looking for some cheap materials like cheap cloth and start buying it out, and then when the new patch comes you can start crafting some of the different gear. If you're a tailor, blacksmith or leather worker, put it up on the auction house and wait, and you'll see that actually the sales do pick up because people are leveling these allied races, particularly the Zandalari trolls if you're on a horde, because I think the Zandalaris are really overpowered for their racials. So people will be faction changing, but there'll also be people just leveling them up and getting new characters. So there'll be a lot of gear to exploit and sell on the auction house if you are interested in crafting. And a bit of a bonus tip in relation to the fact that new people will be leveling up characters for the allied races: keep on flipping. I've been making quite a lot of gold just flipping stuff, and whilst it has died down a little bit, I can feel that it will pick up again with the new allied races. So any 350 gear, so like the world drop gear, particularly stuff like rings and trinkets maybe, if you can see some real good ones of those, then do flip them, buy them up on the auction house and resell them. And the same goes for lots of other stuff. I know right now lots of the 370 gear is ridiculously cheap on some servers, like 5,000 gold for a 370 cloak. And if it's the only 370 cloak on the auction house, maybe buy it out and try and relist it for a bit more, because these new characters, a 370 cloak is going to be awesome for them. So you could see a bump in sales in the kind of 360, 370 gear, which has been selling very badly recently because obviously everyone just wants the 400 plus gear. So if you are into flipping, it's just something to think about. Those kind of lower level pieces will probably be boosted up a bit with the allied races. Anyway, that's it guys. Let me know what you think. Do you have any other gold making methods that we can do to make gold with the new patch? Do check out the Skillshare link because it really helps me out in the description below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see ya.